All right, let's get into it. What if the calmest, most focused people on the planet, I'm talking monks, could actually teach us how to deal with our crazy modern lives? That's really the big idea behind Jay Shetty's amazing book, Think Like a Monk. And in this explainer, we're going to break down the absolute best stuff from it. So this is the idea that just completely grabbed Jay Shetty. It's something his teacher, Garanga Das, told him. It's all about selfless service, right? Finding a purpose that's way bigger than just what you want right now. And honestly, this idea, it's the foundation for the entire monk mindset. Which, brings us to the big question about Shetty himself. I mean, here's a guy in his first year of business school on the fast track, chasing the same success everyone else was. But then he meets a monk who just seemed happier and more centered than any rich or famous person he'd ever met. And that was it. That was the light bulb moment. Shetty realized the goal wasn't to have more, it was to be more, to live the kind of values that this monk represented. So Shetty's journey kind of points to a problem that, well, let's be honest, it affects all of us. It's the reason a monk's mindset is so appealing in the first place. He calls it the monkey mind. And this image, it just captures that feeling perfectly, right? Our heads are just crowded. They're filled with all this noise from the outside world, our parents, our friends, social media, the news. It's just a constant flood of voices telling us who we should be and what we're supposed to want. So what is the monkey mind, really? Well, it's that restless, jumpy state where your thoughts are just swinging from branch to branch to branch, never really landing on anything or solving anything. It's the engine that drives overthinking, procrastination, and that constant low-level hum of anxiety so many of us live with. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just, wow, you can see it right here. The monkey mind is totally overwhelmed, distracted, caught up in all the little stuff, the leaves and branches. But the monk mind, it goes deeper. It focuses on the root of things. Instead of complaining and comparing, it's compassionate. It trades that quick hit of pleasure for long-term, real meaning. The whole goal is to move from that chaotic state to one of clarity and purpose. So how do we even start to get from the monkey mind to the monk mind? Well, the very first step on this whole journey is all about letting go. It's about clearing out all of that external noise so we can finally hear our own voice. Shetty uses this beautiful metaphor he got from his teacher. He says our true identity is like a mirror, but right now it's covered in this thick layer of dust. And that dust, that's everything we were just talking about. Other people's opinions, their expectations for you, the obligations you feel you have to meet. When we look in that mirror, we can't even see our own reflection clearly. Right, so the obvious question is, how do we actually start cleaning the mirror? How do we get rid of all that dust? Well, the tool he gives us is something called a life audit. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter what we say we value, our actions tell the real story. Where you actually spend your time and your money, that shows what you truly care about. And it's actually pretty simple. It breaks down into two parts. First, for just 1 week, track where your free time really goes. Not work or sleep, but the time you have a choice. And second, for 1 month, take a hard look at your discretionary spending, the money you spend after all the bills are paid. And this is such a perfect example of what happens, isn't it? We might say, oh, my health is so important, but then we'll complain about spending an extra $1.50 on healthy food while we don't even blink at a $4 coffee every single day. Or we feel like a 60-minute lunch with families taking forever, but a 60-minute TV show just flies by. An audit brings all these little contradictions right to the surface. Okay, so once we start clearing away that external dust, we've got to deal with the noise that's coming from inside our own heads. The second practice is all about learning to tame the negativity that just bubbles up from within. And for this, Shetty has this super simple but honestly game-changing framework. It's a little 3-step process for handling those negative thoughts and feelings as they pop up. Here's how it works. It's called spot, stop, swap. First, you just spot the negative thought. You just notice it without any judgment. Maybe it's envy, maybe it's you criticizing yourself. Second, you stop. Instead of just reacting, you actually pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, okay, where is this feeling coming from? And finally, you swap it. You consciously reframe the thought or choose a more constructive response. And that's the real power of it. Spot, stop, swap gives you that little bit of space between a feeling and your reaction to it. It moves you from just unconsciously reacting to things to consciously responding to them. It's how you start to take back the controls from the monkey mind. So after you learn to clear away the external noise and handle the internal noise, now comes the most important part. You could call it the final exam. This isn't about sitting quietly in a room. It's about living this way out in the real world. And this is where Jay's own story comes full circle. After 3 intense years of training as a monk, his teacher told him that his real purpose, his real service, wasn't to stay hidden away in the ashram. It was to leave and share all this ancient wisdom with the modern world. As Shetty himself put it, trying to apply all this wisdom to life outside the monastery, with all its distractions and challenges and noise, that felt like the real final exam. And you know what? That's the test for all of us. The true value of any of this stuff is how we use it in our everyday lives. So that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you picture your own life, that dusty mirror of your identity, what's one small piece of dust, one opinion, one expectation, one obligation that you can start to clear away starting today?